Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is SeanPoliseno, and you are on the Real World of Real Estate. And I really appreciate you joining us today. I have an amazing guest that I'm super excited to share with you. This is a relationship that I can't even remember. It goes back so far. I can't even remember when it started, but he was my team leader. He's my coach. He's an amazing person in our industry of real estate and has worked here in California as well as Vegas. And everywhere he goes, he has a thriving business. So Jason Lindstrom, I'm super excited to interview him. Just have a quick intro here, and we will see you on the other side. So Jason, here you are. Thank you so much, buddy, for doing this today with me.
I'm excited, Sean, and it's so good to be around you like always. I just love your energy, and I can't wait to conversate with you today and hopefully make some impacts for some people that are growing their business right now.
Well, I know you will. And, I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of, share a little bit of your background. We both are military veterans, and we have that in common. And we also had an office in common at one point, and I'm sure in your introduction you'll share a little bit about that. But just let's keep this loose. I know that you it's Friday. We have the amazing amazing week that we had behind us, being both blessed with the real estate industry and what it's provided for us. And I'm just hoping to share that with everybody.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to kick it off with the intro, and then we'll get into some good stuff for everybody to kind of listen in on.
Perfect. So why don't you go ahead and start off with telling us a little bit about yourself.
Very good, Sean. Well, Jason Lindstrom, as you mentioned, my first breath was in Sacramento, California as I came to this earth. I was born and raised there. I met my now wife, Masie Lindstrom, in middle school when we were 12 years old. We got married at 18. In September, we celebrate our 30th anniversary. We're blessed with 4 children. I have a 26-year-old daughter named Makayla who trains scent dogs for diabetic children. To help them and their families with those sensitive areas of blood sugar drops and things of that nature. She's been on Good Morning America. She delivers dogs across the country. She's so passionate. She's doing her thing. She's married for 4 years now to her wife who's in the military, and they're just rocking it, and I couldn't be more proud of her. My second child is Courtney. She just finished her first year of college. She got her CNA in the nursing world. She's going to continue on in the nursing program, wants to get into stenography, potentially go all the way to be a PA, physician assistant, and her education. So she's 19, and she's on that journey. My 17-year-old LeAnn, we call her Lefty. She's left-handed. She just graduated high school. She got a full-ride scholarship to Midland University in Nebraska for women's football. She is a top-ranked quarterback for 4-flag football and 7-on-7, and she'll be playing for a private college in Nebraska. We take her up there next month, and she has her eyes set up on making the first U.S. Olympic team in 2028 for the sport. So She thinks big. My son Kyle is 12. He is in the boxing, karate, martial arts arena, wants to go get his black belt and not to be a MMA fighter or anything. At least as of right now, that's not his goals. But he likes the discipline. He likes the confidence that he gets. It just gives him just a different kind of – I just notice even at 12 how he walks and how proud he is and how caring he is, but yet he's fearless at the same time, and he's 12. So those are our 4 kids. At 18, like I mentioned, I got married to Masie. I also enlisted in the United States Army. Like we were talking, we're both veterans. I spent my first 10 years of my adult life in the U.S. infantry, reconnaissance, sniper world, did a lot of different things in the military. At the 10-year mark, we decided to end our military journey, my wife and I, at that point, mostly not because I didn't love the military. I did. I still miss it today. Although my first daughter, who I had mentioned earlier, had some tumors and cysts going on when I was deployed. It was pretty stressful on my wife and me to deal with that, and she had some medical challenges. So I parted ways so we could stand by her side as a united family and get her through that. And of course we did. She's here, she's healthy, and she's rocking. So when I look back, that was a good decision. As much as I miss not completing that potential military career, it was the right decision for me as a person. A lady that I met when I came back from Iraq one year in 1999, My wife and I had rented homes our whole life until then. And we decided, I'm a staff sergeant in the military. Our income is better. I'm tired of renting. Let's go buy a home. We jumped in the car. We left our apartment. I saw this wonderful lady beating in an open house sign. Didn't know what it was at the time, but I know now, obviously. But she was beating in a sign. We weren't sure where we were going. We'd seen new builder signs before. We were just going to go look. Well, we ended up following her to a home. Her name is Krista Miranda. And met her in the open house, didn't buy that particular home, but she ended up guiding us through the process, sold us a new construction home, and we bought our first home. During that process, she got to know me. Her husband was in the military. She figured out through just building a friendship that I was going to get out. She said, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "I really don't know." And she goes, "Jason, you seem like a good guy. How about real estate? What you just did, what I just did with you, could you see yourself doing that for other people?" And I was like, "You know what? I had a lot of fun. Sure. What do I do?" And she goes, "Well, I'll give you a school, go get your license and come work with me." And boom, a couple months later, I had my license about a year before I got out of the military. So I was able to plan a little bit of a transition time period from going from a set income to a flexible income. And I jumped into real estate in Colorado Springs, Colorado in the year 2000. So I've 22 years. I've started my 23rd year in the business, thanks to Krista. We ended up owning our own brokerage when I was 27 years old. 4 months into my career, she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're going to be good at this." I came out and was producing and didn't know how or why. It was just happening. And she goes, "Let's go open our own company together." So we did that. We opened a company. We called it Cheyenne Mountain Realty because we lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I grew it to 33 agents. Didn't, again, know what I was doing, but I was having fun, was enthusiastic, attracting people to that energy. And we had a fun little brokerage. It got too big for her. She didn't want it to be bigger than that. She was the broker, and it was kind of where she was comfortable.
Right, liability-wise.
Yeah, and I understood and respected that. So 3 years into my career, it's about a year and a half at that point into my career, I kind of fell in love with growing and building. I didn't know why, didn't know what I was doing, but I liked it. So I met with somebody that said, "Hey, if you're going to leave a small private brokerage and go to a bigger company, check out Keller Williams." At the time, Keller Williams was in Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma, 3 states. It was a franchise system. I met with.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before you get into your career at Keller Williams, because that's where we met. So So you were in Colorado Springs selling real estate as a realtor, right?
Yes, sir.
And your partner, the mentor that brought you into the business, were you selling a lot of real estate at that time?
I was. In my first 3 years, I closed 440 transactions.
Wow. So you came out the gate and were a rock star right from the beginning. So many agents, they come in and they struggle with that part of the business. But you love that part of it, did it very well, but you decided to also become an entrepreneur at that point?
I don't know that I knew what that word meant yet. I heard independent contractor instead of employee kind of thing, corporate world versus being an entrepreneur. But I was young and still figuring things out. But looking back, that's what I was experiencing and transitioning to, not realizing it at that point in time. I just came in to the business. Krista was a great mentor. She was a great trainer. And because of the military, I know we'll talk about maybe some things I picked up in the military that I've applied in this business. And there's a number of them that we can talk about. But one of them that I didn't realize at the time, but I do look back and I'm grateful now, is in the military, when you're given a task or you're given a mission or you're asked to complete, not even asked, when you're told to complete something, you finish it. Yeah. Right. And so for 10 years, there is no options, or I don't feel like it today, or I don't this or that. There's no excuse, creating. There's nothing. It's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sergeant, no, sergeant, whomever they're directing, and you go to work. Right. And so in the military, I only knew, because I started my adult life, I only knew how to complete. Right. So whatever it was, it could have been cleaning something, training on a rifle range, practicing a craft, right, leading a mission, in the real military sense. It didn't matter how small or how large the task was, we finished it. And so in real estate, I didn't know any different. So when Krista said, "Jason, hey, this is how you start your career. These are some things to do," I finished it. And
Yeah.
so that alone, Sean, changed the game for me. Now that I'm 23 years in and I look at all realtors with coming from all backgrounds, first career, second career, transitioning from one to the other, I noticed a pattern amongst two groups of kinds of professionals, people who finish and people who don't.
Yeah.
And there's a larger audience of people, unfortunately, who don't finish. They start things, but they very rarely finish. And when I
Yeah.
look back in 23 years at things that I think created good outcomes for my wife and I, it's because we finished.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it was hard. I get that. Right. The grind, the work, the challenges of market shifts, things that are personal things that happen, tragedy that can affect life. There's all kinds of things that we control, we don't control, to disrupt things. But what in my core, the one thing that I'll never change, that I do credit the military, Sean, is when I agree to start something, I'll take it to the finish line.
Yeah, and that you've formed a habit around it. It's become part of you. But I will say that when I first met you, I remember in meetings you would talk about, you've gone from one place to another place to another place, and you've taken your model and your habits, and you've had tremendous success. I mean, 400 units in what, 3 years or 4 years?
3 years, yeah.
3 years. I mean, the average agent in this country sells what, 5 or 6 homes a year. So so what do you think was other than being able to, talk to people, and you have the gift of being able to communicate, and you're a warm guy, and I think that's what that attraction that you mentioned. What else do you think was your magic in the beginning?
It was understanding what it is to be a student, right? And to be committed to learning. And whether it's going through our younger years, as we all do in our youth years, our teen years with high school, going into college for those that do, maybe on the early end of life, maybe later. Like I went back to college and finished, but not right out of high school in my career. I've always understood the idea that we don't know everything, and things do change and shift. And one of the best ways to be ahead of that is to stay in the classroom, so to speak. Stay in the student seat. Even when you're leading, even when I'm leading, I don't lose sight of, hey, I might have to tweak a skill set or learn a new strategy or adjust something. And so I might have to read a book, attend a conference, join podcasts like these with people like you, right? I need to be around people that impart information that's relevant to any given day and any present moment, from past experience and future opportunities. And I learn. And I do encourage everybody to stay in that seat. And I say it passionately, Sean, because as you know, I've owned franchises. I've been brokers. I've led lots of realtors in my career, not just in the producing agent side. I've been on the other side too. So I've got to experience what a lot of realtors do right and where they struggle, right? From new agents to even seasoned realtors, people who have been at this 5, 10, 20 plus years. You can sit down with somebody and begin to recognize in one or multiple conversations where they may be struggling. And I do, in the 2 points we've already made, being someone that finishes what you start and being a student. Those are 2 lessons already that we've covered. That's for everybody, whether someone's coming in brand new or is in and is struggling, or maybe they're doing decent, but there's another level. Learning applies to all of us at all levels, and finishing applies to all of us all the time.
Yeah. Well, you said learning. It sounds like you're learning based at your core.
Yes.
And being both at Keller Williams, and you could pick back up from where you talked about joining Keller Williams, which I only had, for 16 years, that was my only company I'd ever worked for.
Yeah.
So, but company Keller Williams teaches us to be learning based, because it's a super important part of our being.
It is. And so when I left the private small brokerage, just a year and a half in the business, I did select Keller Williams. They were new, up and coming. I liked the vision. I liked that they were learning based. I liked that they were a heavy training oriented company. And I ended up going there. I spent 20 years with them. Like you, most of our career is there. And both of us had made a change last year for various reasons that were good for us to a new brokerage, but not after many years with that great company. And they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, I have nothing bad to say. And you were the catalyst. You changed first, but you were the catalyst for my change.
Yeah, it was just, and again, it goes back to being learning based, right? Because 20 years of learning with 𝗂𝐬𝐿 did mature me and educate me as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a producer, as a business builder, lots of different parts of being an entrepreneur. I do credit my journey with 𝗂𝐬𝐿, led by Gary Keller, who's an incredibly intelligent and kind person. He and his leaders and everybody that's rippled through the number one company in the world currently in real estate. He's given a lot to me, even indirectly. I've met him in person. I've got to visit with him a couple times, but even indirectly, he's made an impact on my life that I continue to work in our industry to help other people, at the end of the day. So I spent 20 years there. I've been in 3 states with 𝗂𝐬𝐿. Colorado, Nevada, and California. I've been licensed in all 3 states. I've been a broker in 2 of them, of the 3. I've owned franchises. I've been an investor in them. I've been a team leader, like you were mentioning, which is the CEO position for an independent franchise, where we're responsible for profitability, productivity, growth, culture, those things. We both have done that. It's been a lot of fun. And so I do think that the fact that I've worn a number of hats in 23 years has shaped me as to who I am today and where I'm successful today, because I've been on the realtor side. I've been a broker. I've owned a business. I've done it in multiple markets in multiple states. I've been through a number of shifts, and all of those things, those good and bad experiences, have prepared me for today, for 2022. And we're all faced some new things today that none of us have ever seen. Even people that have been in this business as long as you and I have. We can talk about that later on. But 20 years 𝗂𝐬𝐿, and then I'm almost a year and a half over at eXp Realty now. Great company. I decided to come over here because I believe this company is built for where the industry is heading. I like that we're on the metaverse. I like that we're cloud-based. I like that there's not a layer of broker owners in between the agent and the founders. In this company, we're all partners together. We benefit financially for our efforts in multiple ways. We get to be shareholders and build a retirement vehicle that way. There's a residual income vehicle for growing the company, the production income for producing like we would anywhere. The compensation structure is incredible. They also are very learning based. I do find that the content of the training we're getting at this particular company is relevant for where we're heading. And I do think other brands are missing that not to get into comparison today. These are some of the reasons why I came, because I want to be ahead and forward thinking in a world where there's all kinds of disruption. There's different things that we've all learned with the pandemic that's still living and breathing. There's the Eastern European war that's going on. There's supply chain issues. We're seeing financial breakdowns in the crypto market, in the stock market. Now inventory is booming again for real estate. It's been a very good seller's market, high demand situation. Buyers, it was tough to get into homes. Well, we're seeing it shift back to the other side. It's not completely over there yet, but we're seeing the shift like I've seen and you've seen a number of times. It's beginning to happen. And there's all kinds of different things where the economy may or may not be heading. There's no one has a crystal ball, but I do think everybody believes that things are different right now, and what's going on is the big question. Like, where are we heading? Right.
We both get that question. I'm sure. Like, well, we're our sphere of influence, or people that we know, from before we were in real estate, or the clients that we interface with, on a day-to-day basis that, maybe call on a sign call or an internet ad that we're placing. That's a question that always, like, where do you think the market's going? Everybody's kind of sitting on the fence. But what I would say is we don't have any control over the market, right?
Right.
We just interpret it for our clients, and nobody knows. Everybody speculates in that interpretation. Nobody really knows. But what I would like to just dovetail on what you said a little bit about 𝗂𝐬𝐿. 𝗂𝐬𝐿 took in a world before 𝗂𝐬𝐿 existed. The traditional broker model was very much a triangle where the agent is at the bottom and all the overhead and the brokers at the top was being paid by the commissions generated by that agent. And Keller Williams said, look, we're going to change that and put the agent in the center. And, that's their agent centric model, a hybrid to every other model out there. And if it was at all possible, I think EXP has even centralized the agent even more by cutting out all of the middle fat that was being carried by the agents at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if it was possible to improve on it, like the 4-minute mile, we all hear about the 4-minute mile. Nobody could break the 4-minute mile until it was broken. And then now how many people have broken the 4-minute mile, right? It's the same kind of thing in the real estate industry. We're subject to the same, business norms that every company is subject to. So I do believe that we are the model. We are set up to go into the future where Keller Williams was that 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, and they've been that for 30 plus years, and I was there for 20 of them, and they're still going to be around and do their thing. Don't get me wrong; they definitely are a great model.
But they're trying to change. They are trying to change and adapt to us.
Yeah, which good for them. I mean, they've got to. The world is saying, "Hey, shift here, or you may slowly be less relevant."
Right. So, who would you say is your leadership mentors today? And I think you were going to say the difference between being a salesperson, which most agents come in thinking they are, and being an entrepreneur and a business person. Where did you think that happened in your career? And then if you could also maybe share with us who your current mentors and leaders and who you follow, and because you are clearly a leader at this point. You were back then in the beginning, but anyways.
Thank you. Well, and you too. We keep elevating our game, right? That's part of staying in the student, staying growing, having bigger goals year after year. When you hit one, set the next one. All those things that we coach and teach others already. But I did. It was the reality that before I realized I was a business person, I didn't realize there were two mindsets, the salesperson and business person mindset. I was just selling. Obviously, I had that mindset not knowing it. I was very transactional focused. Is how do I set transaction goals that create volume that turn into commission income, one deal at a time, getting the next listing, setting listing appointments, attracting the next buyer, getting them pre-approved, putting them in searches, showing them houses, structuring a deal, putting them in escrow, closing and giving keys, all that thing that we all do in our day job, so to speak. But yet there's so much more than that. I realize the danger today for people that are career-minded in real estate of adopting a salesperson mindset. And what got me through that were coaches and mentors. I didn't know that. I was doing what I did to generate an income to take care of my family day one in the business, where a lot of people start, because we need to fund our life. I need to pay bills. I need to buy a home or pay my home off or get the next vehicle or pay for my business expenses. I've got to produce income. And so naturally people go into the salesperson mindset first to make income, because that's where it starts. At some point, though, hopefully everybody sooner than later realizes that they've got to learn to be a business person while producing and selling real estate. And that is vastly different. And there's a number of mentors and coaches in my life that helped me realize that, hey, you're producing and you're selling and you're creating an income, but where are you really going in your career? And the answer was nowhere. Because if I have to start over every January, if I start over at the beginning of every year financially, I'm a salesperson.
Yeah.
So that's one question to ask yourselves. Like, at the end of a year, if I spent all the money I made and I didn't further my financial statement, I don't realize that I'm not running a business. I'm selling real estate and I'm producing an income. And even though the danger is people can still make money and get by, but eventually there's a year that surfaces and something happens to somebody. Could be tragedy, could be just an awareness, could be a person that enters their life and says, hey, Sean, congratulations. You've been doing this for 20 years. I don't really want to ask questions about your production. I want to know how you're doing in the career sense. How's your financial statement looking for you? When you look back at your however many years, how rewarding has this industry been to you? Because here's another reality. Nobody retires us in this business. We're not in corporate America. We don't have pensions waiting for us. There's no retirement outside of what we choose to create. And business people create those. Salespeople do not. That's another. So when I ask people, when I sit down with a realtor that wants me to talk business with them, I want to figure out, is this person stuck in a transactional salesperson mindset, or are they entrepreneur? And I can do that by asking them questions. Hey, Sean, I do want to know a little about production and where you're heading this year, maybe what you did last year. But what kinds of things are you doing to exit the industry someday? Have you ever thought about the off-ramp of your career? And some people, they'll either look at me like, what do you mean off-ramp? And then I already know, right? Oh my gosh, we got work to do there. Or they're like, you know what, Jason, I have thought about that. 2030 is my year. I want to make sure I get to X so that I can get out and go enjoy my life doing other things I'm passionate about, and thank my industry and my career for getting me there. But most people, Sean, don't have an off-ramp. They don't have a plan. They don't have a vehicle to produce a higher net worth that retires them. And it could be, there's a lot of ways to do that. You can buy real estate. You can generate multiple income streams. You can invest in crypto, stock, other things.
Yeah.
You can do all of them, right? But most people don't have a plan to manage their financial future while they're selling real estate today. And secondly, if they don't know their numbers, they're not business people. If they can't tell me on demand where their production is, how much they spend, how many leads they generate, how many leads they convert, how many listing appointments it takes to close X amount of listings to produce so much income. Like, I can fire off questions like you can really quickly. And if I'm stumbling them, I already realize they're focusing on their, I just got to figure out how to pay my month, how to get the next listing, how to get the next buyer. I get that from a fear perspective, yet I want to caution everybody, if you're there, be careful. That's a dangerous trap, right? You get stuck into a place that you have to repeat your performance every month and then every year, and eventually life catches up, and eventually people get tired. People get burnt out. I have friends that have been doing this for 30 years, and they're at the same financial place they were when they came in the business. They lived for 30 years. They funded 30 years of life, but they can't fund another month without income.
They definitely can't walk away from it and continue to fund with a passive income.
Yep. And when people get into their 40s and 50s, I know that because I'm getting ready to turn 50, right? So you and I are very similar in age, not that it's about age, but I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, I felt superhero. I didn't worry about this time that I'm at now. I didn't even think about it. I was like, I'm just going to hit my 100 deals this year. I'm going to go make 400,000 or 500,000 this year and spend it all, by the way. I was that guy. It wasn't until the second half of my career that I shifted from salesperson to business person. And it was after a huge financial crash for me. I lost everything at one point.
Yeah. Well, before you share your mentors and leadership now, I just would like to just dovetail on what you said, is that most agents don't know where the off-ramp is. They don't even realize they took a wrong exit.
Yeah.
I ask when they tell me, I just recently changed brokerages. Well, let me ask a question. Have you ever taken a wrong exit? Do you just keep going in that same direction, realizing after you realized you're taking a wrong exit? So I'm hoping to give you the information so that you can realize you've even taken a wrong exit.
Yeah. That's that metaphor, like you're saying. It could be the freeway, highway, on-ramp, off-ramp. It's also, you can use water. Are you going upstream? Does it feel like everything you do is hard? Yeah, it might be because you're going upstream. All you got to do is turn around 180 and let it be a support vehicle to you, and you'll feel how fast you'll go downstream financially, in a sense, right? There's a lot of metaphors we could use to teach people to evaluate where they are and are they going in the right direction.
Yeah. And passive income, I know you've shared with me, it's up to you whether you want to share exactly how much, but it's life-changing. I mean, it doesn't, until you have it. I mean, mine is not near as much as yours is at this point, but I've spent literally probably the last 3 to 6 months, where you've been about a year, I think, year and a half. Yeah. And I mean, it's just something that you didn't even realize was possible, probably.
I didn't. Nope, I didn't. And I have, about 5 years ago, I finally figured out a new revised formula financially, right? I understand. I'm a Dave Ramsey fan. I don't like debt. I don't have debt anymore. I no longer let people make money off my money. I don't borrow. I cash pay. It took a while to get to that place, but that was one of my first goals, right? Stop letting my money make money for other people.
Right.
teach my money to make more money for me, because I do want to retire. Not because I'm money motivated, but I certainly am retirement motivated. I am vacation motivated. I am family motivated. I want to do things with them. And to do things, we've got to fund those things. And so it takes money. That's the vehicle and the system we're in this planet, right? And so we've got to get good at that, not just the craft of representing buyers and sellers and investors, also the craft of being a business person to move my career forward at the same time. That's the key. I still produce, but while I'm producing, I'm growing a financial future at the same time. That's the difference, again, between salesperson and business person. And the reality is we can all do it simultaneously. This company allows us to do that, right? I've accumulated almost 5,000 stock, 5,000 shares in this company already in a year and a half. And yes, it goes up and down. So does everyone else. But at some point, that's going to be waiting for me down the road. And where I was before, didn't even have that opportunity. I have over 6 figures worth of passive income doing nothing to get that in this company that it provides me in less than a year and a half. So my passive income is higher than most people's productive income from representing clients. And this isn't about me versus them. I'm just sharing people that there is a model to do these two things while you're representing buyers, sellers, and investors at the same time. And that transitions people that are in a transactional state of mind to a business entrepreneur state of mind that wants a financial statement that they're proud of, not that they don't like looking at, right? And so EXP, and there's more opportunities than that, but I do get to grow a stock portfolio. I get a passive income stream because I like to grow realtors, and I'm compensated for that, right? And so I attract them and I grow them. And the company says, hey, because you're willing to do that, I'm going to reward your effort with this comp structure. Thank you. And I get it every month. Right. And that, by the way, that income pays my bills. So every time I represent a client, it's pure profit.
Yeah.
How many realtors can say every time I have a closing, that's pure profit? No, I need so many closings to pay my bills. Then I get profitable. Not me anymore.
Yeah. Very few.
That's huge.
It is very huge. So who are your mentors? Who are you following today for as far as leadership is concerned?
I have 5 that I'm plugged into for different reasons. 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝐀𝗄𝐿 is one of my favorite EXP businesswomen. She is a kind-hearted, loving, faith-based, high value-based person. And you know me, Sean, that's how I live my life too. She's incredibly intelligent. She has great stories and experiences that she transparently shares, and she teaches freely to people like you, me, and the audience that likes what you and I are saying, how to be better in all facets of life. And she is way further ahead than I am in life, financially and otherwise. So I try to hitch on. I like to be the smallest fish in a pond, the less knowledgeable person in a room. Like I don't look to have the biggest trophy and be the biggest person in any stat. I move to the next pool. If I become that, I move to a different pool. I move to a different group, right? And so 𝗟𝗂𝗂𝐀𝗄𝐿 is one person. Rosie Rodriguez, who my wife and I just adore. This woman is, if you want to sit down with an entrepreneur that understands business in so many different lanes in her life, she's got her paws in so many different vehicles financially and leads so effectively that she has a life that when people around her, it's like she doesn't have stress. It's like she has all the time in the world to do anything she wants in the world. She didn't just get that. She didn't inherit. She came from a difficult life that she shares in some of her podcasts that she does. And she became somebody very powerful. And I just love her to death. So she's another mentor. Casey Calzone is someone I interact with a lot. She is highly intelligent in the areas of mindset, awareness, emotional intelligence. She can read the room better than anybody I know. She cares and she's tough, right? She will not let you escape yourself. She will call you out on things that are distracting you, even though you don't see it that way. She's the one that will tell you what you don't want to hear, show you what you don't want to see, but she comes from a place of improvement for the people that she guides and leads. So she's another one. Teresa Grobecker, she is the CEO of a company called Consortia. This is going to be new for our audience as a mentor type. She's been, she works as an executive with the NAR also, and she's created the first SEC approved blockchain for real estate. And so we'll get on that topic in a second, because again, that's another place we're all heading, whether we want to hear it or not. We're going to see our industry move to the blockchain, and we can talk about that too. That's a whole different topic, but we can touch on it. But she has created the first SEC approved blockchain for real estate. I have been certified with my NFT practitioner's certification for the blockchain. I'm one of the first in the country to do it. And so yeah, well, through consortia that is approved and minor. And so it's a we can put that website, if anybody wants to research it, I can give them that website to go research this too. If they're interested in going to a class just to learn it.
What is it? I'll put it across the bottom for everybody.
Yep. Let me go. I'm going to pull it up on my other screens just so I get the correct. I don't want to say it incorrectly. I'm pretty sure I know it, but I was like, let me not mess this one up.
Well, you're pulling that up. Go ahead.
It's RE for real estate, RE Consortia, which is spelled CONSORTIA.com. So reconsortia.com. And so if you pull that up or they pull that up, the first thing you see is blockchain for real estate, the future of real estate. If you scroll down, you'll also see the only SEC and RESPA compliant blockchain solution. This is huge. It's currently the only one. Are there other people doing it? Sean, they are, but I'm cautioning them now. The SEC is going to come down hard for people that are trying to play on the blockchain in real estate with crypto incorrectly. It's going there, but if they do it cart before the horse, this isn't something you want to play with. This is jail time, right? This is serious, right? So this is, if the government says you aren't doing it with the law, the securities laws that are written, everything regulatory, they're going to get in big trouble.
Yeah,
right.
And those laws are already on the books.
Already there. Yep. And so my recommendation for people that see this, and if they don't see it, please open your eyes to it, because it's coming quickly. We're all going to sell real estate. We're going to do it on Web 3.0, which is another term for the blockchain. And there's going to be a little bit different process, and there's going to be a certification required. So that's where you can go get certified right now and get ahead of this.
Yeah, so I have that scrolling across the bottom. If anybody's interested, check out the website. If you want to call me, my number, it says call live. This is a recorded session, but honestly, we are going to have live sessions throughout the podcast. So you can call anytime at this phone number and you'll be able to get me instantly, and I can get you connected with Jason if you're interested in knowing more about the website that is scrolling at the bottom. This is perfect time for you to talk more about this, because my question for you is what were some of your goals in the beginning? If you could just maybe share a little bit on those, but then really, what are your goals? What are you up to today?
Yeah, well, and I would probably break that down to a 3-part answer. The first one is, I got to learn my craft. Let me learn how to be a good real estate agent. I want to learn how to be an effective communicator, a great negotiator, how to.
This was in the beginning.
In the beginning, yep. My initial goals was more skill and competence. Let me make sure I know how to do my job, so to speak. How do I write contracts? How do I navigate an escrow? How do I guide and consult buyers, sellers, investors properly? And how do I market myself? How do I generate business? Like all those different buckets of learning, I wanted to be considered good at them, even great if I could. But my goal was to make sure I knew what I was doing. Do I know my job? I got a license. I learned what it took to get one, pass the test, and then get one. But that unlocks more learning. You're not done. You just begun. You just access the industry. So my goal was to learn how to do my role, learn how to be a realtor. And then it was to make a living at it. Now I want to produce enough income to live, pay my taxes, fund my life, and live, until I learned there's got to be more than that for me, because after years of doing it that way, I got tired of starting over every January. Most people are like, great, let's business plan for next year, set goals. And I would do that. I'm like, man, I'm starting from zero again. Like I want to start from $100,000. and then 500 grand, and eventually $1 million in net worth. I want to start from those places and grow it each year while setting yearly goals, right?
Yeah.
And so my goal was to learn how to be profitable at that point and start getting ahead financially in life so I can work on that off ramp at some point.
Yeah.
My off ramp is 2030. At 2030, Sean, I won't be on podcasts. I'll be who knows where. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I won't be selling real estate. I'll be who knows where. Like I can't wait to be who knows where with my wife, the love of my life. We're going to go wherever and do what we really want to do full time. Right. And so, but we'll have been rewarded that life because we work so hard to fund that life during this time of our life. Right. And so, but things have changed. So I went from that to learn my job, to learn to make a living at it, to then learn to be profitable, to move my financial statement forward. Then I liked building. So now I want to see if I can build brokerages. So I had goals of not just building a career for me, building a career with other people for them. And so that's why I got into the team leader role, the OP role, the owning franchises role. And I did that for 15 of my 23 years. And so I had a lot of goals in that. Had a lot of fun, had a lot of mistakes, had a lot of successes, but I did enjoy it, but it is not what I'm doing today. I no longer own franchises. I am not a broker. I'm not a broker for realtors. I do have a wonderful real estate team that I'm grateful of. There's 13 of us. We have 3 on the operations side. We have 10 licensed producers, including me and my business partner. He is 30 years in the business, retired police officer. We run a great operation. We do extremely well as a team, and we're more of a family than a team. Like we literally look out for each other in the law enforcement sense, in the military sense, or any culture or vibe where there's a true tribe feeling. That's how we unite and build. And we have struggles. They're not all perfect months, but we always stick together and we navigate them. And so we have a great team. It does fund one of my big income vehicles. And thanks to the team, they empower me to be doing what I am going to share right now, which is my next goal. So our goal for the state of Nevada is to be the first real estate team that is completely certified to represent clients on the blockchain, right? So the last couple of years, I've been studying the crypto space, the blockchain space. By the way, they're 2 different things. People sometimes confuse the 2. Blockchain is different. That doesn't mean crypto. Crypto is a different thing, but it's a hot topic out there. Bitcoin, there's millions of projects and cryptos and types of coins people can get into, types of investment strategies. People can invest in crypto. They can leverage trade in crypto. They can stake. They can yield farm. They can buy NFTs. We can go into all that. If you ever want to do another one on that, I can break that down to you too, because I'm
That's a whole other show for sure.
Whole nother show. But that has led me to believe that in our industry, back to the real estate industry, we are going to be transacting real estate on the blockchain faster than people realize it. And if people don't believe me, or they don't want to hear it from me, go back to that website, go get certified, then call me and tell me it's not going to happen, right? Yeah. Go let the people that have got it approved and that have built it teach you. And that's, so I'm a student. I'm not a leader in that space now, but that is my goal, is to be a leader for all realtors, regardless of company, that want to learn how to be certified first, how to do NFTs second, how to fractionalize ownership in property third, and how to tokenize real estate fourth. A lot of that people may have not heard the terms I just said right now, but all of those are going to be on the blockchain, and they're going to be an opportunity for people to buy and sell real estate in an entirely different way. So my new goal is to lead in Las Vegas, Nevada, and even help people like you and your clients and your friends, your peers, Sean, how to get on this target, because it's coming faster. It's already happening. So it's not that it's coming, it's happening. Everybody's just not there yet. As people are educated and as people realize that it is possible, and they learn the benefits of what fractionalizing means, what tokenizing means, what NFT means as it applies to property, people start clicking for them and be like, oh my gosh, this is an incredible opportunity. And I can see why it's safe, efficient, secure, and a better way to dominate in the real estate industry. It's one of the reasons, by the way, that when you see Blackstone, BlackRock, Vanguard, Citadel, hedge funds, and big investors are buying up real estate, a lot of people are like, why are they buying so much when the rates are this high, when inflation is this high, when there's so many distractions, disruptors in the world? Like, why are they doing it? Because they know this. They already know where we're going, and they're trying to get miles ahead before the everyday realtor and the everyday consumer understands what just happened.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely get you back to do another show. I really appreciate you spending so much time with us today.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your friendship, and you mean a lot to the industry, and you've touched a lot of people, and I mean that. So
thank you, Sean.
Keep doing it.
And you too, my friend. The fact that you're doing this, you're moving mountains by offering an opportunity for people to be inspired and learn.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So thank you, Jason. We'll get him back again. And thank you for joining us here at the Real World of Real Estate. And I'm going to give you a quick little pitch. If you're interested in knowing more about this, I flashed the number at the bottom. It's above. You can click on the link to schedule with me as my calendar link. You can, like, subscribe. Whenever we drop more content, you'll get notified. Thank you for joining us and spending your time. And Jason, we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.